Welcome back to AI Paper Podcasts. For years, the dream of truly cinematic AI-generated film felt pretty distant, often clunky, uninspired, lacking that kind of cinematic magic. We've seen AI churn out video clips, sure, but rarely a cohesive, professionally directed and edited film. Today, we're doing a deep dive into FilMaster, a really groundbreaking system that might just be getting closer to that dream. It's pushing the boundaries of what generative AI can do for professional content creation. So the fundamental problem FilMaster tackles is bridging this huge gap between just generating raw video and creating actual cinematic artistry.
Exactly. Previous AI systems really struggled with basic but absolutely crucial elements like camera language and emotional rhythm, things filmmakers just know.
Right, and this paper introduces FilMaster as this comprehensive end-to-end AI system. It learns real cinematography from a massive library of actual films.
And then this is key, it meticulously emulates professional audience-centric post-production workflows.
Audience-centric, interesting. And the result, we're talking potentially high-quality films, diverse camera work, rich, multi-layered soundscapes.
And outputs that are even editable in industry-standard software, which is a big practical step.
Yeah, it sounds like a significant leap. They're talking compelling, professional-grade cinematic content, complete with dynamic examples like, Godzilla battling a futuristic truck in the desert.
That's the one. It really showcases the potential dynamism.
Okay, so to really appreciate what FilMaster is doing, maybe let's set the scene a bit. We know traditional filmmaking is incredibly complex.
Oh, immensely. From storyboarding all the way to that final edit.
Yeah. So what were the biggest roadblocks for AI in trying to automate this deeply artistic process? Why did previous attempts often seem to fall so flat?
Well, what's fascinating here, and kind of the core issue, was that these previous AI systems fundamentally oversimplified the art form. They often treated video clips in isolation.
Just generating one shot at a time.
Pretty much. Completely neglecting fundamental cinematic principles that, human filmmakers inherently understand. And this led to outputs that were either super generic or lacked any real narrative coherence or just failed to truly engage an audience emotionally.
Okay, when you say failed to engage, what did that look like on screen? Can you give us a more concrete example of those fundamental cinematic principles they were missing?
Sure. Imagine a scene where the camera just sits there, static. No push-in for emphasis during a dramatic moment, no quick cuts maybe to build tension in an action scene. That's the lack of what we call camera language.
Oh, okay. The how of showing things.
Exactly. The artful use of techniques like shot types, movements, angles, all to convey emotion and move the narrative forward. Or think about an action sequence where the sound effects feel tacked on, maybe out of sync, not really integrated into the pace.
Right, like stock sounds dropped in randomly?
Yeah, that's a failure of cinematic rhythm. That's the masterful orchestration of pacing through editing and sound, working together to guide the audience's emotional journey. Prior methods like Movie Agent, for instance, they often produced really uninspired or sort of even incoherent shots. And their audio was typically very limited and frequently desynchronized from the visuals. It just didn't feel like a coherent film watching experience.
I can definitely see how crucial those distinctions are now. Okay, so FilMaster claims it integrates these real-world cinematic principles to get past these issues. What are the foundational ideas it's built on to achieve that professional feel, that cinematic magic you mentioned?
Right, so FilMaster is built on two key principles that directly address those shortcomings we just talked about. The first one is that it learns cinematography directly from extensive real-world film data.
Okay, learning from examples.
But it's more than just examples. This is a huge leap because it's not just about the volume of data. It's about internalizing the grammar of cinema, not just copying individual words or shots.
Like learning the rules, not just memorizing lines.
Precisely. Think about human filmmakers spend years studying existing works, watching films, analyzing them, honing their craft, internalizing how to use a camera to tell a story effectively. FilMaster does essentially the same thing, learning from this massive corpus of over 440,000 real film clips.
Wow, 440,000 clips.
Yeah. It's basically absorbing the collective wisdom, the techniques, the styles of professional cinematography.
Okay, so that's the first pillar. Learning from this huge data set, internalizing cinematic grammar. What's the second crucial principle, the one that elevates FilMaster beyond just, smart data analysis?
The second is emulating professional, audience-centric post-production workflows. This is absolutely crucial for achieving that natural cinematic rhythm we talked about and ensuring genuine audience engagement.
Right, the rhythm and flow.
Exactly. It moves beyond just generating the raw clips to actually assembling them, refining the edit, scoring the film. Much like human editors and sound designers would in a real production studio. This is where it goes from just generating assets to actually crafting a story.
And it's using the latest AI models for this, I assume, like the big multimodal large language models and powerful video generation models we hear about.
Yes, exactly right. It leverages state-of-the-art models, things like GPT-4o, Gemini 2.0, Flash for its planning and refinement stages. Those are the MLLMs, the multimodal large language models you mentioned, capable of understanding both text and images.
Okay.
And it uses advanced video generation models, like Kling Elements is one mentioned, to actually create the visuals, extending their capabilities far beyond simple script writing or just isolated clip generation. It's building a full pipeline.
A full pipeline. Okay. So how does FilmMaster actually start creating a film? Walk us through the first step in this two-stage process, from just an idea to cinematic output.
Okay, so the journey begins with what they call the reference-guided generation stage. You, the user, provide an input text that's basically your script idea, your prompt.
Your core concept.
Yeah, and then reference images for your characters and maybe locations. FilMaster then uses those MLLMs for the video content planning and the script structuring.
So it's kind of fleshing out the idea.
Exactly. And it does this in a course-defined process. Starts with a high-level synopsis, refines that into a simplified storyboard, then a more detailed storyboard, and finally, it breaks the whole thing down into distinct scene blocks, each with specific spatiotemporal contexts.
So where things happen and when?
Precisely. It's a very structured approach, actually quite similar to how a human director might handle pre-production.
Okay, so it handles the pre-production planning, the structure, but the real art, as we said, is often in the camera work itself. How does FilmMaster make sure his camera choices aren't just generic, but truly cinematic? What's the secret sauce there?
Yeah, this is where their multi-shot, synergized RGAG camera language design module comes in. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know.
Definitely sounds technical.
It does. But essentially, think of it as the AI's internal cinematographer. It uses a technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG.
Raggy, okay. Heard of that.
Right, so it means it doesn't just invent camera moves from scratch. It looks up relevant techniques and adapts them from its massive database, that 440,000 clip library we mentioned.
So it finds similar scenes or contexts.
Exactly. When it needs to plan a shot for a specific part of the script, it retrieves relevant cinematic descriptions, things like shot types, camera movements, angles, even atmospheric characteristics like lighting or mood, all based on the scene's textual context.
And crucially, you said multi-shot synergized. Does it make sure shots within a scene flow together smoothly? Because that's always been a challenge, right? Scenes feeling disjointed.
Precisely. That's a key point. It's not just retrieving isolated ideas for single shots. It explicitly considers the spatiotemporal contexts and the narrative objectives across multiple shots within a scene block.
Oh, okay.
To ensure a synergized camera language.
Yeah.
This is really crucial for preventing those disconnected, sometimes incoherent shots we've seen from earlier systems. The LLM then sort of replans the shots based on these retrieved examples, ensuring consistency and expressiveness across the entire scene.
That's a really clever approach, actually. So going back to that example, if you wanted that dramatic chase scene, Godzilla versus a Cybertruck in the desert,
Yeah.
it wouldn't just give you a static recording.
Oh, definitely not.
It would plan the camera angles, the movements, everything to make that feel genuinely cinematic.
Exactly. It would leverage its learned understanding to create dynamic shots. For example, it might plan, say, a sweeping establishing shot across the sand dunes. Then maybe cut to an eye-level view, emphasizing the Cybertruck speeding away, really get that sense of motion. And then perhaps a dramatic low-angle shot looking up to emphasize Godzilla's imposing size.
Making Godzilla look huge.
Right. And all while maintaining visual continuity between those shots and making sure it serves the narrative impact of the chase. It's effectively an AI-powered director and cinematographer working together.
Okay, so FilMaster generates its raw footage using this RE approach for camera work. But that's really just the beginning, isn't it? Like, the real magic in filmmaking often happens in post-production.
Absolutely. The edit bay is where it comes together.
So how does it transform those raw elements, those generated clips, into a